Hypocrisy, the practice of claiming to have moral standards or beliefs to which one's own behavior does not conform. Pretense, that's the definition of hypocrisy for the women of The View, the bought and paid for left-wing talk show. One of the women of The View, I can't even think of her name because none of them are really worth remembering, including the Sister Act. But one of them made mention that conservatives are being hypocritical about the protest against ICE because they brought up January 6th protests, like they love to claim that that was the day that the American government was about to be overthrown without any arms. Yeah, that would take a true act of God. And what's even more interesting is that Trump went to the Capitol, told his followers to peacefully and patriotically make their voices heard against some very questionable things that happened during that election, the election that they stopped the count on that night. Yeah, and what's even more interesting is that they had Biden winning 81 million votes, but then he couldn't even run again. And then Trump turns right around behind him and wins in a landslide. Isn't that kind of questionable? At any rate, you guys, these people claim that, J6ers tried to overthrow the government, but ICE protesters are peaceful. I saw signs that said F Trump, F ICE, abolish ICE, and you have people out there interfering with law enforcement. That's hypocrisy. Calling something peaceful, that's not peaceful. They're actually trying to provoke situations. Okay. Also, the J6ers, the ones that were arrested, didn't receive any due process. But then y'all were fighting about the illegal immigrants that Trump was rounded up, talking about they weren't receiving due process. But y'all didn't have nothing to say about the people y'all are supposed to be represented here. That's what you call hypocrisy. Also, hypocrisy is this show has not had Trump on it after he won his first term and his second term, but they've talked about him nonstop for the negative. Meanwhile, while bringing on the likes of Hillary Clinton, who's been tied to so much corruption, including trying to frame President Trump using the Russian Steele dossier that was found to be false. And when they brought her on, conveniently, they didn't question her about any of that. Hypocrisy. And the woman even brought up the midterms while she was talking about the shooting that happened in Minnesota. What does that have to do with anything? Oh, y'all trying to use this to try to gain points for the midterms because the Democrats really shouldn't have a snowball chance in hell of ever getting reelected. But at any rate, you guys, you are excusing fraud, but at the same time, all the fraud that they found in Minnesota before this incident conveniently happened, that was getting a lot of press about the billions of dollars of our taxpayer dollars that they found being used to fund or funnel through fake daycare centers, primarily by Somalian immigrants. Yeah, they excused that, but then they want to talk about unaffordability. That's hypocrisy. Also, you all are U.S. representatives, but you're fighting for and funding illegal immigrants. That's hypocrisy. The same party also that called to fight for, they're saying they were fighting for democracy, were defunding the police, censoring conservative voices, mandated a new vaccine and threatened unemployment if you didn't get it, and didn't even hold a primary so that their voters can choose who they wanted. That's what you would call hypocrisy, claiming to fight for the very things that you are not implementing. Over time, pretense is found out, sometimes not, close, because you have a party running, no one is above the law while defunding the law and pushing for people to push back against the law. Yeah, that's hypocrisy. But it takes some people a while to see the pretense, in people. But all you have to do is look at words and look at actions. And if they don't line up, that's what you would call hypocrisy. And that is the very definition of the Democrat Party and politicians, period.